Call to order. The governing board meeting is called to order at 4:47 PM. Please stand for the flag salute. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, roll call. Let the record reflect that the trustee Fruchoz and trustee Ahmad are not present, but the rest of the board is here and the administration are here. All right. Approval of agenda. It is recommended that the governing board approve the agenda of the May 8th, 2023 governing board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion. Thank you, trustee Brenda. Do I have a second? Thank you, trustee Jason. All right, and I am all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0. Okay. Closed session. Appeal of findings regarding complaint against employees pursuant to BPAR 1312.1 and Government Code Section 54957. Appeal of findings regarding UCP complaint pursuant to BP/AR 1312-.3 and Education Code Section 35146. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of section 54956.9. One potential case, appeal of complaints. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
Motion. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, trustee Brenda, and a second.
I'll second.
Trustee Chong, thank you. I vote aye, so motion passes 3-0. The governing board meeting is called into closed session at 4:50. Okay.
Thank you for that email. You're my spot. Good night.
All right. Reconvene. Is there a motion to reconvene?
Motion.
Thank you, trustee Jason, and a second. Second. Thank you, trustee Brenda. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's 3-0. Motion passes with a vote 3-0. All right, the board meeting reconvenes at 5:06. Reporting out of closed session. The board has determined to consider the parent request for a extension of the appeal, and so do I have a motion? Motion. Okay, thank you, trustee Brenda.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Jason. All right, so moved by trustee Brenda, seconded by trustee Jason. The governing board grants a parental request to consider the appeal of employee complaint and UCP complaint at the next board meeting on June the 12th, 2023. Right. Approval of minutes. Approval of the April 10th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting, April 10th meeting?
I'll motion.
Thank you, trustee Jason, and a second. Thank you, trustee Brenda. Okay, without any discussion, we'll move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so that's, the motion passes 3-0. Approval of the May 3rd special meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the May 3rd special meeting? A motion. Thank you, trustee Brendan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Jason. Without discussion, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. The motion passes 3-0. Governing board comments. Trustee Sean, please.
Yes, full house again today. Welcome Buena Park Middle School. Excited to hear you guys and welcome you today, and it's a full room, so welcome to everybody. This month is a lot of things, Mental Health Awareness Month. We have Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Teacher Appreciation Week, and National Nurses Week. So a lot of things to be appreciative of, and I think we have a lot of our teachers here today. So I really want to say thank you for all that you do. I know that just words aren't enough, but continue to, be strong, and we appreciate all that you do. And, I think it doesn't go unnoticed. Same with our nurses who do a wonderful job keeping our kids healthy and safe. So that's very nice. Couple of things I just noticed. There's the La Palma, what was it called? Festival of Nations.
Yeah.
I heard, and I know our drumline with the teacher here today that represented our team to be there, and I heard it was a hit of the whole day. And so everything we do just is always a hit and a good thing. So I know that they represent strong. So congrats to that team. Also shout out to Ms. Huang and Mr. Kim, who put a soccer clinic on for our middle school students at the high school. So connecting with the high school and our feeder school is always a great thing to develop skills like soccer and everything else that goes with that. So I just want to notice that and make that a little shout out to everybody. And lastly, I know they're not here because they're actually there receiving this award right now, but our child welfare attendants, Dr. Simonowski is the child welfare attendants administrator of the year for AXA for Region 17. So that's a big accomplishment of her work and what she's done. So a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be appreciative of. And so I just want to give those shout outs because it's a really cool thing. So that's my report for today.
Thank you. And trustee Brendan.
Hello, I just want to thank everyone for being here and to honor our students, and thank you to staff for being amazing. And again, just to reiterate, I want to congratulate all the staff for California Teacher Day, which is this May 10th. And thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for helping our students to be the best that they can be, and we really appreciate all your help. Also as well, thank you as well to our school nurses. That is also on May 10th. Thank you as well for making sure that everyone's happy and healthy, and we really appreciate all the hard work that you do. Just wanted to say, we are looking forward to the Corey School production of the 101 Dalmatians, which will be this May 16th and May 17th. 100% looking forward to it. I heard our theater program is amazing and I can't wait to see it. As well, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for doing such a hard work. I know the end of the year is coming up really quickly and it will almost be our promotion ceremonies. So keep going strong, keep doing what you're doing, and 100% you guys can totally do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And for myself, I wanted to say thank you to all those, especially our, I hate to single out one group because everybody is hardworking. I appreciate the work that everyone does for our district to make it so successful for our students and our families. I just wanted to add the Principals Day was May 1st. So we want to thank them too, because we know that they are the connection between the administration and the sites in the families and students. On 4/13, I attended the Honorary Service Award dinner. And it was where the city PTA were honoring families, parents, classified, certificated. Everybody was getting mentioned for the hard work that they had done through the year. And that was a good time to be together. On 4/17, the school board, California School Board Association came down from Sacramento. They're going to different counties to see what our specific needs are to help our school board meetings run more efficiently and help us to be better school board members. And they also gave us updates on what they're working on as a whole for the state. And then open house season is here, and I'm so thankful that we not only having a variety of days that the open houses are held on, but that their times are expanded also. So some are starting at 4 and some are ending at 7, which made it be easier for me to go. And I'm sure for the families also to attend more. On the 20th, I went to Pendleton's award assembly and it was outside, which made it great because then everybody could participate. Then later that day, I went to Gilbert and was able to tour through some of their classrooms. On 4/21, I went to the Buena Park All-City Track Meet, and we expected the teachers who had been coaching and practicing with the kids to be there, but all 4 of the principals were also there to cheer on their students, so that was great to see. On 4/27, I went to the Rotary Teacher of the Year luncheon, and all the Buena Parks, Buena Park High School, Centralia School District, our district, Savannah, all the schools that have students in Buena Park were there. And Dr. Cantu was a person that was leading the meeting and through all the schools. So that was excited. I was excited to see that. She made our school proud, our district, right? On 4/27, I went to the Buena Park Learning Center and saw the variety of work that the young people are doing. It's amazing what the teachers are accomplishing with those students. They showed their work in a lot of different ways. And so that was exciting to see. And Buena Park Middle School, open house. The entire school read a book called The Refugee. And every teacher, pardon? Oh, what did I say? Oh, sorry. Beatty Middle School, sorry. It was definitely Beatty. They had all read The Refugee. And every class made their presentation based on that book. So whether it was the math classes, the, they had graphs and worksheets, charts, the science department had experiments, they had things relating to the book. Of course, the English department had writing on the book. That's, common. But I mean, the art department, every department on campus responded to that book in one way or another. And it was a beautiful thing to see the variety, which is what we want for our kids, right? To be able to express themselves in a way that works for them. And so that was great to see. On May 3rd, I went to the State of the City, where we were finding out about what is coming up in Buena Park, like housing and some changes that they're making in the city. That was good to see. On May 4th, I was able to go to the Emory, open house at Emory and Whitaker. And I liked how the teachers are giving the kids more voice. They are able to write on what they're interested in, and this was something I was glad to see. On May 5th, I attended a meeting with Senator Josh Newman, and he is the new chairperson for the Education Committee in Sacramento. And so I appreciated the time that he gave to come down here and hear what our concerns were in Orange County. And then he also talked about some bills that he's working on. And so it's good to have a voice, because I wasn't able to go. I know Jerry went to speak with legislators, but I wasn't able to do that. But when they come down here, it makes it even more convenient. So I was happy about that. And so I just wanted to share that, and that's my report. Dr. Cantu.
Well, as it's been said, May is definitely a time of celebration and reflection, as well as to recognize those that make our district and all of education great. I enjoyed most of the opportunities that were already shared by our board members, but I would like to say, open house really did signify, illustrate the true unique instructional programs that all of you out there offer our students, both certificate and classified. It was well recognized, the use of technology, not for the sake of technology, but for true innovation. We saw that in the way that students were able to present their knowledge, being able to not only show what they know, but to go beyond the expectations to really show how they're applying their learning. So we do really want to salute all of our certificate and classified. We've honored our bus drivers, our nurses, and we would also like to say with our mental health month, we want to thank all of our staff that support the social emotional needs of our students, all the way down to continue the mental health needs. I'd also like to give a shout out to Beatty for having an opportunity, giving us volunteers an opportunity to come and pull weeds. The whole time I was pulling weeds, I was thinking, how am I going to get out of bed in the morning? I was so sore. It was great to hear that Jody felt the same way, but I wanted to give a special shout out to Jody. They're a wonderful counselor there at Beatty, as well as their principal, for organizing the opportunity for us volunteers to go out and help with the vision of having a beautiful campus, not just what the students bring to the beauty of the campus and what the teachers bring and the certificated bring, but also having I should say landscape that allows for the outdoors to be just as inviting as the indoors. Also, I really want to take some time to thank those teachers who came out for their Coates graduation. There was a teacher who was asked to be a guest speaker, a keynote speaker, Suzanne Huerta from Whitaker. And those of us that had the opportunity to hear from her were actually moved to tears. She shared not only how she has benefited from the Coates Foundation, but how our teachers similar to her are not just making a difference and a huge impact with the students that they see every day, but they're changing education as a whole. Suzanne Huerta is a special ed teacher because of what she is doing with her special needs students and our most vulnerable students. Coates has actually offered greater opportunities for us SPED students, as well as universities have come to see what she's doing. Other teachers in our district and across, I should say, Southern California have noted all that she is doing. So truly our teachers are not, again, making an impact with the students they see every day, but in our field as a whole. So a great shout out to Suzanne Huerta. And I also like to call just a recognition to our teachers. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. And then in a few weeks, we'll be doing appreciation of our classified. It is truly you heroes that continue to remind us how important it is to listen to your voice and to honor your voices. So I just want to, again, a big shout out and appreciation for both teachers for their week this week and coming up our certificate. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Cantu. All right, programs and reports, Dr. Cantu.
Well, you can see we're in for a big treat from Buena Park Middle School. We'll be sharing their focus around our 3 key areas of equity, building connections with staff and students and parents, and then their rigorous program. And I'd like to now introduce our interim principal, Mr. Bickelheimer.
Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you to the school board and the cabinet for having me here to tell about some fantastic things. You're receiving a digital postcard right now that I'm going to give a little context to later as we move along through this evening. Families, I want to say thank you for you. Our community comes together because our teachers and our families, our students come together along with this group to make us a fantastic place. Tonight, I get to tell you, do I need that?
Yeah.
Why BPMS Buena Park Middle School is a unique learning environment. And then we're going to take some time to celebrate some students. Tonight, I'm going to bring up a few students and teachers and staff to help me explain why we're so fantastic. We are a collection of amazing people striving together to support each other, build our community, and work together for a better future. Could you switch slides for me? Repeat what I just said, and then move on to the next slide. All right, this is a community overview. It takes a village. This is really a collection of our demographics. And I know I walked over here an hour ago, and this page has all changed. We are in a constant state of flux. So our desire and what makes us unique is we are continually creating an environment in which we strive to create belonging for everyone. All right, I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to point to somebody right over here. Miss Love. Just raise your hand, Miss Love. As you can see in that photo right there, if it were bigger, that's the Table of Love, hosted by Miss Love, and she's a part of a group of campus staff who are dedicated to the safety and well-being of every student on campus. And they go beyond the boundaries of their assignments to deliver every day. Now, what she's doing at that Table of Love, you'll see those digital postcards right there. We're going to talk a little bit more about them, but they're made and created by students right there at her table. Changing the dynamic of language around campus by overwhelming with positive. It's the way we move the needle. Now, I'm going to ask my people to start coming up. Ms. Rojas, you're going to tell us all about this next slide. And everybody else, now that my intro is done, you can come on up and stand in line and be ready.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight. So I'm here just to go over a little bit of our CAS data and how we are doing this year. You will see up there, we have our data for ELA for 2 different years. And we are right now in the middle of finishing up makeups, getting students through iReady and CAS, and our students are doing it. We have a large number that are completed, and we are looking forward to finishing up the rest this week as well. And right here, you'll see it's very small, but you can see the green, it's color coded, so that makes it a little easier to see. But this is going to be our iReady data for this school year. And we have on here our fall and winter, and we're currently working on our spring as well. And so we are almost done with that. Our students that have been testing, you know that you've been testing on that. And so we're working through it for ELA and for math. You'll see up here the data for ELA specifically, as well as on the left-hand side. I know it's very small, but you've seen improvements in ELA from the fall to the winter. So that's something that we are expecting again for the spring. And our students, our teachers, they have been working very hard this year and learning a lot, and it's showing.
All right, now I would like to tell you that Ms. Riffsdale's right here to tell you a few things, but she in fact called me and said that she was sick. She's so sorry. And I said, you have to take care of yourself. but she sent along with me programs to tell you all about what's been going on in our school counseling program. First off, we have Character Strong. We have the TUPE program, which is our tobacco use prevention education, our GRIP program, and our BASE education. Our restorative practice in circles. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, even though the time is very precious. Our counselors have been facilitating group restorative circles and tutorials and group meetings with students, digging in, finding out what students need, working to resolve harm, settling disagreements in ways that allow the children, the students to grow from the experience. In addition, she presented and her team presented lessons to all 8th graders about college and career readiness. Now I want to talk about our panorama data. So stay on this slide for just a little bit. In this very difficult time for all of us, we're all experiencing life at this time, and our students have been growing. In the area of emotional regulation, we have found the most growth. Digging in with these restorative circles and practices and PBIS, students are learning how to regulate their emotions. Our second celebration is the high percentage of supportive relationships students feel they have at 84%, and up 3 points since our last survey. So this tells us there are students by and large have somebody out there they can turn to, they can find somebody who's going to listen, somebody who cares. And it's all part of our community putting it together. Miss Rifsdale wanted me to leave you with this. The belief our staff and teachers have in students is apparent in their communication, supportive class settings, and teaching growth mindset, which helps students believe they can succeed in achieving academic outcomes. The connection is clear. Our teachers, our staff, our community are making our students feel valued and safe. And from there, they can flourish academically. It's an amazing community effort. We'll continue to use these comparisons to celebrate growth in certain areas and continue to find opportunities for improvement. You can switch slides. And you can switch again. This is a recap. Okay, now I get to talk a little bit more about our instructional focus. All of these things that we've been doing, getting our students ready, providing them a foundation, working with parents, we put it together in our instructional focus. Okay. I want to talk about rigor and culture and equity and access. You can switch sides. I wish I had a clicker. The California School News Report, I want to show you right there. Our school has been in this periodical several times this year. We're making the news because we're making an impact. I want to tell you about our rigor, our honors programs, our advanced robotics, our coding, our advanced Spanish, our culinary, our band and percussion, and you're going to hear a little bit about them in just a little bit. Our FFA and Femineers, and you're going to hear about them. Our STEM sailing and our advanced biology. Pretty incredible stuff. I want to talk about our culture. Our PBIS, student-created videos for our PBIS rotations, our hero points, our student store, our student announcements, and our Character Strong program. I want to talk a little bit more about our Table of Love. Those digital postcards. We began those as a program for students who were, I'll say it, they were having some difficulty understanding what appropriate language is all about. And we determined that the best way to touch this is to have them change the dynamic of their language. So they've worked with our Apple partner and Miss Love to create digital postcards. and then distribute those digital postcards to people unwittingly. They know they come and they find it just as you receive them. They're a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of moment. It'll touch you. And they have an impact. I want to tell you about our guidance specialists. Building culture every day. They're out there working with students, and they're much more than just looking out and around the corner and keeping kids on the straight and narrow. They are making relationships every day. One of them, in fact, Miguel Tapia, is heading into the counseling world. He's been inspired by what he's been doing, what he's seen, to make and forge a career in school counseling. The next part I want to talk about, can you move to equity and access for me? Every single teacher on our campus, and it was the first in Buena Park School District, became Apple Teacher Certified or recognized, as the case may be. All students have access to tools that can translate voice and choice for showcasing their learning and displaying what they know on multiple platforms. So that's the key, right? We have kids that can fill out a test and write on a paper. But when you really want to know what a kid knows, you find a way to find out what they know and make it flexible for them. And we continue to build on that equity and access by giving kids, students, voice and choice and opportunity. I'd like to tell you really quickly about a student named Johan. And I'm watching time, I'm telling you. I'll get there. He's an EL learner. He came here last year without a bit of English. Working with our iPads and our teachers, our instructor. He has gone to a point where he can tell us all about his journey. He can tell you that this tool has broken down barriers to communication. And if you hear that tonight, he'd tell you all about it. All right, now I want to switch to the next slide. I'm going to talk about the cherry on top. We have a buffet of offers. We do PBIS. We do base education, character strong tutoring, counseling, and wellness room. And now I'm going to start talking about some specific programs, and I'm going to let some students tell us about it. You know, our gardens are famous. Our horticulture programs are famous. We're building future farmers of America. I want to introduce to you Mary Cotting, who is a student who came here fresh and new. And she's going to tell you a couple of seconds about what this program has done to her. Everybody, Mary Cotting, give her a round of applause.
So coming to this school, I didn't know what it was. And all I knew was that my dad was in the program. But I also knew I wasn't really interested in getting dirty. But after getting in this class, you know, right? After going to this school, I realized that horticulture was something that I felt was for me. It made me feel like this was my perfect middle school. I'm sorry if I get emotional. I've had a rough year. And going to this school and going to this program made me feel like it embraced me with open arms. And horticulture shows me that it's not all just black and white. And I know I get this all from like just a plant class. It's a plant class. But it opens my eyes to I can be more than what I have told I can be. And I love this class. The teachers, the students, everything's amazing. And horticulture helped me realize that.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'll be very transparent about this. Stephanie and I had a long conversation about this. I've known Stephanie now for a number of years. And at first, we spent a lot of time with restorative practices, building on where we needed to go and what appropriate things looked like. And we talked and we talked. What we discovered as we walked along this journey is that Stephanie was looking for a place to be hers, a community that was all hers. And so she found Mr. Locke and percussion. And the world does not look the same. Now she's very nervous, so everybody give her a round of applause. And a fry with a spicy chicken and a chocolate shake, so please don't put that in the press. But I want you to talk a little bit about what it's meant to you, but also what you see on the horizon. Go.
All right, so percussion, what does it mean to me? Personally, you might think, oh, it's just drums, you know, like, what's so interesting about drums? It's not just the drums, it's more like you're building a community, a family, somewhere you want to call your home, your second home. And thanks to Mr. Locke, I found that, and I never thought, I'll be interested in drums, honestly, I never thought I'd be interested in that, but last year, I was really looking for something to put me in the right place, and I saw that the elective percussion was there, and I chose it, and it really did bring out new skills and talents I never thought I had, and I really appreciate Mr. Locke for showing me something I never thought I had inside of me, and honestly, I'm really grateful. I'm really nervous too. Yeah, I'm really nervous. So, God,
What are you gonna do in high school?
I really,
What are you gonna do in high school? Have you given some thought to what percussion could do for you in high school?
yeah. Whoa. Percussion, I don't know, honestly, I really wanted to take it above and beyond and do it up to college too. And thanks to the opportunity that they like gave me, I'm really, wow.
Her auditions are tomorrow.
Well, yeah. I'm speechless, honestly. But yeah, percussion really brought out a side of me I never thought I really had, and I'm really grateful for that. And I want to thank Miss Love for always supporting me.
Oh.
You know, always being there, you know, like for me. God, Miss Love is like, she's always like, you got this, baby. You know, I love you so much. She's like having a second mom, and I really appreciate her for supporting me on this topic, you know? I love it.
Mr. Locke, do you have anything you want to add to that? Because, I mean,
She literally said it all. It's just, you know, the fact that we come together as staff to offer a place for our students to thrive is something that I think we all strive for.
all right, now I want to talk, if you could go to our next slide, and I'm moving, and the next one. Because wow, we got all kinds of great photos of these kids performing art doing their thing. Keep going. I need to be a little bit better on the front thing, right? I'll work on that. Now we want to tell you about Apple Professional Learning. All right. Our partnership with Apple has been incredible. They have taken this tool and helped our students bring it to life. in really without the training and the guidance they give, that iPad may as well be a doorstop. But they've made this device come alive for us. And now students are able to interact with it confidently and tap its full potential. And this is just the beginning of what they're going to be able to do. Before we reach into our, you can switch it, yeah, perfect. We're about to celebrate some fantastic students from across our campus. But before we do that, because that kind of gets rolling and we all get sent out, you'll see on the doorway behind Miss Leota and this door here and right here is a QR code that launches our new Instagram, BPMS_stallions. We are going to be reporting on that. Watch what happens. Watch what comes alive at BPMS, because we're going to chronicle it. Now, I got some certificates. I want to start talking about some amazing people. And okay. I'd like to recognize for sixth grade, Caleb Murgia. Caleb, head right on up, get your certificate. Head right on up to Dr. Cantu. Another sixth grader I'd like to introduce, Gabriela Reyes. Gabby, where are you? And our third sixth grader, I don't see her, Jessalyn Doucette. There she is. I didn't see her earlier. Good to see you. And now our fantastic seventh graders. Rushan Fort, come on up. And then Danle Saucedo Arizmendi. Wow. And now two eighth graders that we have to bid adieu to this year, and students I've known for a while. Lorelei Walker. And Ivan Aguilar Zavala. Come on up.
Then after our parents will invite our board members to come up and be part of the pictures, and they will have staff. Thank you. As our governing board members take their seats, we'd love to have our staff come on up and take pictures with this group.
No, you get lost. Everybody here. You got enough of me.
All right, please join me again in honoring our. And we definitely understand if our families would like to take their students home to celebrate or do homework, whichever. So yeah, so families feel comfortable in leaving now, if you'd like.
Always a lot going on.
Our next report. Our next report will be presented by Director of Special Education, Julie Linicky.
Thank you, Dr. Cantu. Boy, I get to follow that presentation.
Yes, good, but I'm sure yours will be just as riveting.
All right. Good evening, governing board members, President Shedd, cabinet, and guests. First, I want to say Cherie Hayes was unable to be here tonight. She wasn't feeling well, so I'm taking on her portion for her. But I'd like to begin by thanking the board and cabinet for offering me the opportunity to lead the special education department. I have the privilege of working with our exceptional staff, families, and students. And many of them are here tonight, although maybe not for me. I don't know. Tonight. Tonight, I will share some highlights and important learning from the past year as we continue to grow and expand our department's knowledge of the special education laws and regulations outlined by the state and federal government, along with effective strategies to best support our scholars, while also making the connection to our district's 3 pillars of rigor, culture, and equity. Next slide, please. Just to review, you'll see here are programs that are held at each site. All are unique and adapted to the students they serve. While the district is required to have a range of services, we are committed to providing a free and appropriate public education to all of our students from preschool through 8th grade. And I also want to recognize all of the staff at each of our schools and the amazing work that they do. Let's have them stand. I know there's many here tonight, if special ed staff stand. Be proud. As we meet on a regular basis, I hear from them, you know, this job is not the same as it used to be, but they still show up every day and do their very best for their students. Next slide. Here you can see the number of students in each of these programs. As expected and similar to most districts, our numbers have grown in the last few years. The goal of special education is for students to achieve academic success in the least restrictive environment, despite their disability. In accordance with CDE guidelines and our annual determination indicators, we are continually working to provide opportunities for students with disabilities to learn alongside their general education peers. As our department continues to make improvements where necessary and share best practices, it was important for me to gain insight from our staff as I took on my new role last year. So therefore, I'm going to start with culture rather than rigor, because I want to share with you some highlights from a survey that was done this past year. Next slide. So I know it's small, but to just give some perspective, this question asked, how do you feel supported at the site level? On the left, you'll see last year, which was May 2022. And on the right, you'll see this year, January 2023. So definitely feeling more supported. Next slide. And this is as a department of special education. I'm pleased to share our staff are feeling more supported by our department now. We have worked on creating a collaborative culture and listening to the needs of the staff. Our meetings are more of a professional development format where staff are able to share and provide input. Next slide. And one other piece of the survey I'll share is about professional development needs. I wanted to know what they felt they needed. And it's very small, but the highlights here are they were looking for professional development in the area of behavior and also facilitated IEPs, and then many other things, but those were the top. Next slide. And just some comments. There's lots. I would have been here for a while, but I wanted to highlight a few of the themes that were throughout. Last year, there was a need for more truthfulness, for students to be placed properly. So we looked at already redefining our protocol for how we change students' placement, as well as provide them with initial placement. So we have a new protocol there, which definitely takes more site input than district. We have job alike meetings, which was one of the requests that they had, more time to meet with their similar job alike staff. More training on IEPs, which we've been doing through our staff meetings. Listen to the staff was a request from last year. And then consistency with the IAs. We've tried hard not to move them around, although it's kind of a revolving door with our IAs coming and going, but we're working through that. And then there was some requests for more intervention curriculum. So this year, some highlights in the comments were to continue open communication. There was a request for TOSA or a program specialist, which, as you all know, we're looking into. More training for IAs, consistency across the sites, looking at CAST and referrals and placements. They need more sensory materials and supplies, and then also to continue positive improvements. And I just want to note a lot of comments about our wonderful secretary, Cheryl Burgess. I think there was asking to duplicate her. All right, next slide, please. So with that information, we continue to listen to that and provide some opportunities. Thankfully, this year we had our learning recovery and ADR one-time grant funds. So that afforded us the opportunity to purchase some curriculum, which one for literacy used in our STC mild mod as well as RSP classes is Sonday system. And then we looked into some math intervention through McGraw-Hill. And we've ordered lots of sensory materials, all of which are out at the school sites, as well as other classroom supplies. Next slide. These funds have also given us the opportunity to work on some professional development opportunities. And as I said earlier, one of the areas was behavior. So we've had 2 rounds of Crisis Prevention Institute training, CPI, in the area of behavior. We've also provided hours and opportunities for any of our classified staff that were interested to become registered behavior technicians and do that training. That is a self-paced online program that they do on their own time and get paid for. We had an autism training back in November, and then also some of the school sites have led their own trainings on Thursday afternoons. Next slide. And some professional development opportunities for teachers. Obviously, they're working through our curriculum department with CGI, and there's been a lot of growth there, as well as having the opportunity to attend CPI. And then facilitated IEPs, I'll talk about a little bit more in just a moment, but that's coming up this June. And we've had some curriculum training, and then we tried to make our staff meetings more of learning environment, not just us talking at them, as well as the job alike meetings that we have regularly. Next slide. So facilitated IEP training that we're doing this June, the state is moving towards more of a facilitated type IEP meeting. So we wanted to bring that to our staff. And one of the purposes of a facilitated meeting is it's more collaborative in nature. It really elicits more parent involvement. There's a lot of discussion, bringing information out of the parents. Sometimes when our parents are in the meetings, they aren't sure what to say. So there's some front loading before the meeting, talking about the information in the IEP before the meeting. So when the meeting comes together, it's more of a discussion and really talking about what the student needs. It's also promoting more of a meeting facilitation. It's that involves everyone. It builds trust, and it's more preventative and talks about more solution-based for conflict. Next slide. So we're really looking forward to that training coming in June. And next, some of the other areas we talked about this year are improvements in assessment. So we are moving towards something called patterns of strength and weaknesses rather than the discrepancy model. This is for specific learning disability. And it's a newer model that we're looking at, and our psychologists are working on that as well. And then also looking at our assessments for our English language learners with disabilities, as well as reclassifying our English learners that have disabilities and a different protocol for them. And finally, we looked at more of a more comprehensive report template. Next slide. And under the 3rd pillar of equity, it was a pleasure to finally see Special Olympics come to fruition at Pendleton School. I think it's been about 4 years in the making. Started at Emory, almost got off the ground, and then COVID stopped that in its tracks. And I just really want to thank Sarah Tarn, school psychologist, and Jenny Reed, along with the support of Mrs. Leota, for getting that off the ground for our young athletes. It was a very special day for the culminating act, or the end of the activity with the field day, but also just their weekly meetings and the special education students becoming rock stars with the general education students. Next slide. We've also had some parent engagement opportunities this year. Those are site-led, led at the site by each of the different schools. So with our large population at Pendleton and Whitaker, Pendleton had a nice evening with a handful of parents that attended, and they learned all about IEPs. And even if they didn't attend, every parent was given a binder that is very organized with their students' IEP, the procedural safeguards, all the pieces that they would need all in one place. Oftentimes those papers get lost, and so that their staff pulled that together. So thank you to the Pendleton staff. And upcoming, we have Whitaker's, what are you calling it, Stephanie? Your Night Under the Stars, yes. So Whitaker's doing a celebration with their students and families coming up, and recognizing their students for their great work as well. Next slide. One final area I'd like to discuss in regards to equity is our state preschool. In talking with Mrs. Beckelheimer early on, we noticed that there were some significant needs with our students coming into our district-wide state preschool. So with this expansion of classes at every site, we have been able to have our eyes on more students in order to provide some early intervention and address our child find obligation. At the beginning of the year, it became evident that several students had some speech and language needs specifically. Early intervention funding has been utilized to provide speech and language support through an SLPA, SLPA, alongside our district speech and language pathologist to deliver these interventions under the MTSS umbrella prior to assessment for special education. And next slide. And just a few next steps. We're going to continue staffing. I've already been working on hiring for next year, and we want to hire and retain the support staff as well. Continue with ongoing professional development, support instructional practices. We want to evaluate and monitor the new curriculum that's in place. Continue to partner with our SELPA for training and support. And then, of course, our SIM state review and service tracking. So I'm proud of the work that we are doing in our department and all of the excellent things that are happening out at school sites. And I appreciate the opportunity to share this with you tonight. Thank you.
Do we have any questions or clarifications from our governing board?
I appreciate hearing what you are working on and the changes that are being made. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to publicly thank Director Linecky for her leadership, her inclusive leadership, and for the staff for their patience as they trust our new leader and are willing to move forward under her leadership. And it's all about listening, being courageous enough to survey the staff, even though we knew what we were going to hear. She went ahead, surveyed, and more importantly, is responding to the needs of our staff, who in turn can greater serve our students. So thank you, Director Linecky, and all the staff as well. Continuing on for our third report, which is like a part two. Last month, we were able to hear about our programs that allow our students services and community services to meet the needs of our students. And we were asked to come back and be more specific about the staff that we have in place across our district, specifically at our school sites, that will help our students with awareness and prevention and response to their social emotional needs and mental health. And we have our Chief Academic Officer, Ms. Centeno.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board President Shedd, members of the governing board, interim Superintendent Dr. Cantu, and cabinet members and our esteemed guests. I don't know, Julie, if they weren't here, where are you? They weren't here for you. I think they were here for this. This evening, I get to share this beautiful infographic that is full of information at a glance. Each of the areas of this infographic were very purposefully selected and have great meaning. So tonight I get to give you an update on what is happening with wellness and mental health here in Buena Park School District. Fortunately for you, I have taken this infographic that is rather small and I have enlarged it just a little bit over the next few slides. Next slide, please. So let's start by setting some context. Our title here, Buena Park School District MTSS Framework. Very simply stated, the MTSS or Multi-Tiered System of Support Framework is a framework that basically organizes all of the supports, all of the services that we offer as a district or at our school sites for our students. And those supports can either be in the realm of academics, maybe in math, language arts, and so forth, or in the area of social emotional learning. These supports then serve the whole child. The why that you see here. We know that mental health is a factor in overall wellness for a child. And a student's social emotional health is necessary for them to really be able to achieve all that they can academically. This was true prior to COVID. However, after COVID, I think it is forefront on all of our minds. We do offer tiered supports. So everyone who's here spends time around children, and we know that they are different. They each have their individual needs. And so the supports that we offer should also be individualized. We have 3 tiers of supports in our MTSS framework, and those are tier 1, which are universal. All of our children in their classrooms receive supports such as equitable classroom instruction, and they benefit from this. Tier 2 are a little more tailored. They are targeted supplemental supports that fewer students receive. Why? Because they need those additional supports. And lastly, tier 3 are supports for a smaller group of students as they require more intensive supports. Next on our infographic, you see the PLC cycle of inquiry, professional learning communities. This cycle of inquiry is often used when collaboratively, that's important, collaboratively deciding on what services or supports would best meet the needs of a student, what the timeline will be, who's responsible for providing or implementing the supports, and how they will be measured for effectiveness. The MTSS strategies that we utilize can help build and promote a positive school climate where students feel safe and connected. I think our other reports this evening have talked about that quite a bit. When students feel safe and connected, it increases their opportunities for academic and behavioral and social success in school. Next slide. Some other elements here, starting with restorative justice practices. And I know Mr. Beckelheimer talked about that in his presentation as well. Our restorative justice practices encourage our students to really reflect and take ownership in resolving conflicts. And you heard some examples, for example, community building circles, small group conferencing, classroom agreements, and norms. Moving on, we have PBIS, or Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, which offer our students evidence-based strategies that help create a positive, predictable, and that's not a bad thing. We want our students to be able to know what to expect when it comes to behaviors expected of them throughout the school environment. This also allows for equitable and safe learning environments where our students can thrive because they understand school-wide and programmatic expectations. Moving on to SEL, or social emotional learning, our graph here helps our students develop self-awareness, self-control, self-regulation, and interpersonal skills that are important not only here at school, but in their outside lives and later in work. Coming back, mental health supports. I'll come back to that in just a few minutes in a little more detail. Next slide, please. Toward the bottom of our infographic, you'll see our QR code for multi-tiered systems of supports. And here you'll find a short video clip and additional information on MTSS provided by our own OCDE. Also, you'll see here purposeful physical activity. We recognize that physical activity is one of the most important things that we can offer for our students and their health. According to CDE, physical activity provides many benefits for children, including increased academic performance because it improves their attention and their memory. It helps reduce the risk of chronic diseases, including type 2 diabetes and obesity, and it also reduces risk of depression in children. Next slide, please. And now we come back to our staff, our wellness support staff. Again, many of whom are here this evening. So our services and our supports are anchored here with teachers, administrators, and the many, many staff members that you see listed here. I'd like to highlight just a few pieces about each of our different categories here. Starting with our school nurses, we do have 4 that service all of our school sites, and our health clerks, which we have 1 at every school site. Our school nurses provide services such as health office visits, providing medication or doses of medication to our students who need that, vision and hearing screenings, and much, much more. This is so timely in light of the fact that we will be recognizing our nurses with Nurse Appreciation Day very, very soon. Our 7 health clerk staff members, again, stationed at every school site, are really instrumental in helping to take care of the daily health needs that children experience when they're not feeling well, when they might fall and injure themselves on the playground. They treat our children and they also get them back into the classroom as often as possible. And that's really important for student learning. Our school psychologists, here you see we have 7.5 school psychologists, and we also have a part-time district psychologist who also, the other part of her time, helps at our school sites. In total, we have 8. Our school psychologists wear many, many hats. They provide assessments for students receiving special education services and provide services to our other children, including individual and group counseling, crisis intervention supports, including threat assessments, and also they provide risk screenings. Our district psychologist supports more of those tier 2 and tier 3 student needs and provide services to our at-promise students, students referred to SARB, and they collaborate with staff, including our after-school staff, to meet the needs of students. And again, they assist with crisis response to district and school, at district and school. And they are also a case manager for our non-public school students and our county placement students. Our 7 counselors, and you're going to hear me repeat, small group counseling, one-to-one counseling for the next few categories. Our elementary and middle school counselors, our outreach concern counselors, our OCDE wellness counselors, and also our Orange County Healthcare Agency clinicians. Many, many services that they all provide, including helping our students who have issues such as anxiety, depression, school avoidance, like absences, tardies. They provide referrals for mental health services outside of our school and district. They coordinate CAS meetings. They help, again, with many different referrals to some of our partnering agencies, such as Care Solace and Giving Children Hope, amongst many others. I'm going to jump to our outreach concern counselors because they also support PBIS, which you heard about earlier in our presentation from Buena Park Middle School, SART, GRIP, and they also coordinate many activities within the school day and outside of the school day. Moving on to our next group, we have a number of university interns. This has been through the hard work of Dr. Simonovsky, who has partnered or helped our district partner with schools such as Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Dominguez Hills, to provide counseling interns which support counseling, help with prevention education such as Character Strong, and they help our students with some de-escalation strategies through one-on-one and group counseling. Moving on to our next kind of category here, you see our one but very mighty school resource officer, Officer Getner, who provides a positive role model and keeps his eyes and ears open on our middle school campuses, helping to provide safety and support. We move into our elementary and middle school PE teachers. Again, I see many of them here. We do have 5 elementary PE teachers that allow our teachers that allow our students to engage in exciting activities, but also allow our teachers additional time to provide small group intervention. Our middle school PE teachers keep our children moving, active, and are always thinking about health lessons that can be provided for our students. Also working in tandem with our PE teachers is our one, again, but mighty wellness teacher, Miss Charlene Ball, who helps to coordinate a number of different services and some of the compliance things such as physical fitness testing, but also lots of fun district-wide activities such as our Superintendent Soccer Cup, which happened recently this year, and our All-City Buena Park track meets. We also have 2 people who are part of our behavior response team, and they assist all of our school sites with students who are experiencing difficulty with behaviors. They come, they provide that triage, if you will, but then also leave strategies that can be implemented by our site staff to continue supporting our students with some of their needs. So on behalf of the Ed Services Department, I'd like to thank this team of dedicated individuals. If you are here in the audience, and I know many of you are, could you please raise your hand? Raise your hand if you serve in one of these roles. We'd like to thank you for your dedication, your commitment to not only our students, but our staff members and our community here in Buena Park as well. And I would be remiss if I did not also acknowledge Director Dr. Simonovsky, who oversees many of these areas. As you heard, she could not be here this evening providing this presentation to you because she is receiving a very well-deserved AXA Administrator of the Year for CWA this evening. So we hope she enjoys her celebration. It's been a pleasure filling you in on the many services that we provide here for our students in Buena Park. Thank you. I know I'm standing between you, some other important items on our agenda and dinner, so I tried to make that quick. Thank you.
Are there any questions or ask for clarifications from our trustees? Then I do want to thank you for that presentation and also to acknowledge all of those workers, including our classroom teachers, as well as our specialists for supporting. These have been challenging times for our students coming out of COVID, but we also know there was a great need even prior to that. This is just a tip of the iceberg. We know that there is a great need to continue supporting our students, both in them learning about how to manage their own behaviors and advocate for themselves, as well as how to then deal with any trauma that's in their lives, or in addition, how to manage the future that's ahead, because as you know, anxieties will always be with us. So again, we want to thank all of our staff members. We know that our job is to continue to meet the needs of our students at whatever tier they need, and we'll also continue to work to increase and include additional support specialists. Thank you.
That brings us to our hearing session. The audience members may request to address the board on an item on or off of the agenda per board bylaw 9323 Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the governing board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board limits the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. The total time allowed for public comment shall be 30 minutes. Audience members wishing to address the board during the hearing session of the agenda should fill out a request to address the governing board form and turn it in to the executive assistant prior to the meeting being held. And Dr. Cantu, are there any comments for the hearing session?
Yes, we have 4.
Thank you. All right. First up, we have Carol Bright.
Good evening, Dr. Cantu, governing board members. My name is Carol Bright, I'm president of Buena Park Teachers Association. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Buena Park Teachers Association would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our teachers for all that they do each and every day. Our teachers deserve our appreciation today more than ever because teaching today is tougher than ever before. Increasing responsibilities, staff shortages, increasing and escalating discipline behaviors, all with less and less support, along with increasing threats to our profession. Our profession is under constant ideological political attacks, as well as increased physical threats to our safety. These add to the already tremendous amount of stress teachers deal with every day. I would like to recognize our teaching staff for their courage, hard work, and selfless contributions to this district and our community. Thank you for all you do. While words of appreciation are nice and of course welcomed and highly valued, our teachers deserve more than just words of appreciation. Because words without meaningful action seem hollow and insincere. Usually, appreciation for an employee's loyalty, hard work, and merit is demonstrated with a raise. To be clear, a raise is not a cost of living adjustment. A raise is the way an employer shows their appreciation for the employee's contribution and dedication to the employer. On the other hand, a cost of living increase is an increase in salary to maintain an employee's ability to afford goods and services along with the pace of inflation. A COLA increase is not a demonstration of appreciation and does not serve as a tool to motivate and/or retain employees. When was the last time Buena Park School District demonstrated its appreciation for its teachers with a real raise? Not a COLA, but a raise. I think it's been so long, no one can seem to remember the last time we were shown appreciation with a real raise. Unfortunately, this district has also failed to show their appreciation by failing to keep our salaries consistent with the cost of living and inflation. Each year, we have been forced to fight for less than it costs to live. This has caused our standard of living to decrease. A raise is intended to increase one's standard of living and buying power, but this district has made us fight for lower COLA increases that keep our salaries and standard of living shrinking and not growing. As the district engages in negotiations, I would like to remind the district one way they can demonstrate their appreciation is by offering an increase that includes a COLA that brings our salaries up to the current cost of living and inflation and reflects a real raise increase that truly reflects the appreciation our teachers and members deserve. Offer us what we deserve. Don't make us beg and fight for it. Would you feel appreciated if you had to beg and fight for a salary that allowed you to maintain your standard of living? We don't either. Again, kind words and tokens of appreciation are always cherished. The words are too rarely heard and the gestures too few and far between. Thank you to all our teachers and our members who support them. You are the district. and Buena Park Teachers Association supports and appreciates you all. Thank you for your selfless contributions that enrich our Buena Park community. And happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have up Jody.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to speak. I would like to thank you also for allowing us to have teachers to have input into the new superintendent. Though we have not heard, we're anxiously awaiting, and we were very, very appreciative of the survey that you sent out. I'm hopeful with the new superintendent that we can create a relationship with BPTA and the district based on good faith. I now would like to address another issue, which was the denial of BPTA's request to speak at the beginning of the board meetings. I'm curious as to why this request was denied. I've been here since 7:50 this morning, taught all day. Usually I go to a staff meeting or a leadership meeting and then come directly here. I would think that you would support teachers by wanting them to be heard and allowing them to go home to their families and get ready for the next day. I'm also speaking to share my growing concern of a disconnect between the needs of the middle schools and the district. I'm not sure if you are aware of the support that we ask for. It is difficult as a teacher to know what information is presented to you and what is not. What information stops with the district and what information is passed on to you. It is difficult to know what action you have taken to support what is best for students and what you have let slide by. I've attended the last few board meetings and I've heard all of the wonderful things that happen at all of our schools. I heard Beatty's school presentation and all of the wonderful programs they offer. Though I believe this to be true for all school sites, I believe all teachers are working to make their site the best that it can be. And this is the perfect time to showcase what each school does. There are, however, topics that I believe you need to be aware of, and a line of communication and transparency needs to be created to bring back the once upon a time family feel of this district. Our leadership team meets frequently and has requested year after year after year for some type of modified schedule for testing week, yet we continually get denied. I'm not sure why this continues to happen. The teachers who are actually in the trenches truly know what is going on at their site and feel as if they are not being taken seriously. The other topic is discipline. This year has been a disaster at our site, and I know this is common amongst schools, middle schools and high schools. Our PBIS program has a way of tracking positives, but has no way to deal with the progressive discipline. We have discussed this in leadership all year, and we now have Mr. Beckelheimer, who has been working diligently to fix this mess. However, we need support at our site. We need a serious conversation regarding a place for disruptive students, repeat drug users, and other inappropriate, unacceptable behavior. We know that suspensions are unwanted, but we need a place to put these students so that they can continue to get an education on our sites, but we cannot continue to allow them to destroy the learning environment for others and constantly stop teachers from teaching. This year alone, I have been cussed out, cussed at, propositioned, swung at, and had a pencil thrown at me. We need the support at our site in order to help Mr. B continue in the right direction. Our office also needs staffing. Last issue, class size and salary. I am always baffled by the district's desire to increase class size when it comes to bargaining a teacher's salary. Our salary should remain competitive with other similar districts across Orange County and should not be tied to class size. I'm outraged that our salary is the lowest in Orange County in comparative districts. As the board, we are counting on you to do what is best for students and keep class sizes as low as possible, especially with the discipline issues arising at our sites. I am hoping that you are all questioning why your teachers are the lowest paid and why wouldn't we be lowering class size if it's possible? I truly hope that this sparks some curiosity as to what the middle schools might need as support and ignites some interest in speaking with teachers who are not afraid to speak the truth about what is really going on. Again, we are all in this to do what's best for students and to create a district that works together. Thank you.
Thank you. The next up I have, Kawika. She didn't come. Am I saying it wrong? Cheryl already spoke. Jody already spoke. Okay. All right, Rosemary.
Good evening. I'm having Jen Krause hand out a letter in regards to the superintendent search. I wish that I could read that letter, but given that I'm only given 3 minutes to read it, and as you can see, it is quite lengthy, with pictures and some purchase orders that explain the position that I'm talking about. But I will be emailing you that letter as well. And if you have any questions about what I'm asking about, what I'm talking about, I'd be happy to answer those questions. But since I only have 3 minutes, I would like to turn what I'm talking about to the idea of compensation for our teachers. So on the school district website, there's a message called the Superintendent's Update from our interim superintendent. And in that message, there's a sentence that reads, "Our schools are powered by world-class instructors, tireless parents, dedicated students, and engaged community partners." So the part that I want us to really focus on is the term, the words, powered by world-class instructors. Yet, the school district does not show they value us or the hard work that we put in. If we were world-class instructors, then why aren't we being compensated as though we are? Winter Park School District's Winter Park School District's top step salary schedule is second to last. This is insulting and it's offensive. Calling the teachers world-class instructors are merely empty, hollow, and insincere words unless you start showing us our value and compensate us accordingly. Thank you.
This person not here. Kawika?
Hello, I'm just a concerned parent from Corey Elementary. Basically, I'm here to speak about a concern of reintroducing 6th grade back to Corey. I don't know how hard that would be or how realistic it is, but it makes so much sense. My oldest is 20, passed all the way through Corey. I have 3 more children. One got bounced out of Corey due to COVID, and she was forced to come here. This is Buena Park Junior High. This is not middle. My wife went to Buena Park Junior High. I would just like things to go back to the traditional way. I don't know if it's fact, but what I've heard is that Corey's numbers have gone down. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know a lot of people that bounce to Raymond Temple to keep their children together, but I do know one family, but I have loyalty to Corey. Some of these teachers up here have taught multiple of my kids, great staff. And also hearing of these other issues, it makes so much more sense. Safety. Not all kids at 6th grade are able and mentally ready to step on this campus because they're not ready. 6th grade belongs at Corey. I know we border Centralia, so it gives that option. It gives that option. I have another kid that's gonna end up leaving Corey to come for 6th grade. And now the inconvenience for parents that have multiple children, I'm gonna have one at Corey, I'm gonna have one at Buena Park Middle, and I'm gonna have one at Buena Park High School. That's very hard. That's 3 different start times, 3 different end times. It's very unrealistic for today's, parent situation, work and all, and balance and all that stuff. But it would help out Corey. Corey, to me, seems like a family. The way that the staff and the teachers, even the nurse, they're involved in our children's lives. And it feels like, we lost Miss Hatfield, you know what I mean? Those are key factors that we looked forward to having our next child go through that path to those educators. It doesn't have, I don't know what process and procedure is. It doesn't have to be at all elementaries. If it's possible for an exception for Corey, being that we do border Centralia, I chose not to go to Raymond Temple, even though it's not even a block away, because of my loyalty to Corey and to the educators that hold my kids now. You know what I mean? And I call her baby, she's 9. She still has some years to go in Corey. And I still want her to be blessed by the rest of the Corey staff. Thank you for your time.
Okay, that brings us, thank you. That brings us to our action calendar. Public employee appointment. Jay Beckelheimer, Principal of Buena Park Middle School, effective May 9th. It is recommended that the governing board appoint Jay Beckelheimer, Principal of Buena Park Middle School, effective May 9th. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, we are very happy to present our next candidate as principal of Buena Park Middle School. And we have our Chief Officer of Personnel Services to introduce him.
Good evening, President Shedd and members of the governing board, our esteemed guests. It's my pleasure this evening to present our recommendation for the next principal of Buena Park Middle School. Through a survey, the Buena Park Middle School staff were able to share about the priorities that they would hope to see in their next site leader. These attributes were then shared with our interview panels that included teachers, classified, school parent, and independent outside administration. After 2 rounds of interviews, both panels felt that the best match for the job was the man who had been providing such excellent support and guidance during these past few months, Mr. Jay Beckelheimer. To share a bit about Mr. Beckelheimer's background and qualifications, after a successful career in the hospitality industry, Jay found his true calling: to cultivate the minds and hearts of students. He has served for over a decade as an educational specialist, working with students with special needs before transitioning to leadership positions as both a program specialist and administrative intern. Over the past 2 decades, he has worked and interacted with teachers at all of our school sites who I believe would agree that Jay is infectious, not in a quarantine kind of way. No, it's Jay's belief that all students can succeed that is so contagious to those around him. He inspires both students and staff. And again, it's our pleasure to recommend Jay for appointment as the principal of the Buena Park Middle School.
You have to vote for.
You
We have to
You have to vote first, right?
Mr. Beckelheimer, one moment, please. We do have formality.
Yes, yes. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, trustee Jason. Do I have a second? All right. And without any discussion, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So the motion passes 3-0 for our new principal of Buena Park.
I'm gonna keep this very short. I know it's very difficult for me to be at a minimum of words, but I want to thank, first of all, Dr. Yvette Cantu. Really, she's been of such a support to me, and somebody I look to as a guiding light, and I really appreciate you. I thank the board for making this decision. I want to thank the staff, the Buena Park Middle School, who have been supportive over the last couple of months, making sure that we're staying on track and doing the right thing and keeping us on target. I want to thank every single teacher I've worked with forever. And I know all of you, and I worked at some point with all of you, and I hope I have infected you with something. Russell. Now I want to get to three very important people in this room. My daughter, Mary, at the back. My son, Tom, right there. Who, if you didn't know already, passed through the schools here in Buena Park and came through Buena Park Middle School. And that's what I said, both of them. But thanks for keeping me on track. And then most of all, I'd like to thank my wife, Mary, who you should know keeps it very real for me at home. I've heard it more than once. What are you doing? I'm going to keep this very real for you. Anyway, I want to thank everybody in this room. You have all really been so supportive. The families that we have at Buena Park Middle School, fantastic. Colleagues have been fantastic. There are two sitting in the front row that without their help, I probably wouldn't have been able to put together two sentences and make things happen. And the principal team who I meet with on a regular basis, I couldn't have asked to join a more supportive group. So I thank you all, and I look forward to serving this community. I look forward to serving this part of the community and this part of the community and this part of the community. I really, really am honored. So thank you very much.
Approval to accept the after-school education and safety ACES program grant for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026.
Give us a raise.
It is recommended that the governing board approve to accept the after-school education and safety ACES program grant. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, I'd like to thank our director, Sari Wong, for submitting a very well-documented program and how successful our after-school ACES program has been, and it was approved to continue.
Do I have a motion? Thank you, trustee Brenda.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Jason. Is there any discussion? No. Okay. With no discussion on the item, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. The motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Also, approval and adoption of governing board policy 5116.2, Involuntary student transfers. It is recommended that the governing board approve and adopt the revision of governing board policy 5116.2. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, this is a board policy that reflects the new law, SB 1343, which authorizes the district to transfer a student who has been convicted of felony or misdemeanor, especially when that student is enrolled in the same school as the student who was a victim of the crime.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, trustee Jason, and a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Brenda. Without any discussion on the item, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes 3-0. Then we have approval of safe and disposal of surplus or obsolete nutrition services equipment. It is recommended that the governing board declare the listed items surplus and dispose of them in accordance with the board policy 3270 and education code sections 17545 and 17546. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, we're asking the board to grant authority of the district to discard of obsolete nutrition services equipment, making room for other spaces that is needed to house books and materials that are currently being needed at our sites.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll motion.
Second.
All right, thank you. Trustee Brenda and trustee Jason. Without further discussion on the, well, I shouldn't say further. Is there any discussion on the item? Okay, without discussion on the item, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Motion passes 3-0. And then we have approval to award bid 2023-03-24 NPR District Gym AV Project 2023. It is recommended that the governing board award the bid number 2023-03-24 NPR District Gym AV Project 2023 to Avadex Industries LLC. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, we seek approval from the board to update in the gym or gymnasium, the NPR, the AV equipment.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Jason. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Brenda. Any discussion? Okay, without any discussion, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Then we have approval of award bid number 2023-04-523 HVAC replacement project. It is recommended that the governing board award the bid number 2023-040523 HVAC replacement project Empowered Solutions LLC. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, this would allow the district to replace old, outdated and obsolete air conditioners and heating units in our schools.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Brenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jason. Any discussion?
No.
All right, with no discussion on the item, we move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes 3-0. Approval and adoption of the Buena Park District's Facilities Master Plan. It is recommended that the governing board approve the Buena Park School District's Facilities Master Plan. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, the plan represents 4 significant themes: safety, security, circulation, aesthetics, and outdoor learning spaces. We want to thank Mr. Macboo, our chief officer, for creating this plan that has input from the board and meets the needs of our community.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, both of you. Is any discussion? Okay, with no discussion, we will move to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I vote aye. The motion passes 3-0. Okay, that brings us to the discussion calendar. Review of revised board policies, first reading. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, the staff has gone through and revised board policies that are now updated and reflect the new laws. We ask that the board review these policies and at a later time, approve them.
All right, thank you. So,
If there are no questions from any of our trustees, you can move forward with.
yeah. I don't think we have any questions. All right. So let's move to the consent calendar. Unless a trustee has a question concerning a particular item and asks that it be withdrawn from the consent calendar, the items are approved at one time by the governing board. So trustee Jason, do you have anything to remove?
Nothing to remove.
Okay, trustee Brenda?
Nothing to remove.
All right, thank you. All right. No items to be withdrawn. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Tristan, and another second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, I vote yes, so the motion passes 3-0. All right, all in
Aye.
favor,
Aye.
sorry. Aye, thank you. All right. Information correspondence, Dr. Cantu.
Yes, the last two board meetings of the school year in June will be dedicated to the LCAP plan as well as our budget for the upcoming school year.
Okay, thank you. All right, that brings us to closed session. Conference with Dr. Cantu, interim superintendent of the Buena Park School District. Labor Relations, Buena Park Teacher Association, Government Conference Code number 54957.6, Labor Relations, California School Employees Association, Chapter 569, Government Conference Code number 54957.6, Labor Relations, Non-Represented Management and Confidential Contract Employees, Government Code number 54957.6, and the Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release. Conference with Legal Counsel, Existing Litigation, Government Code 54956.9, parentheses, D1 and 2. Two cases, OAH case number 120235117 and OAH case number 22023502502. Do I have a motion to go to closed session?
A motion.
Thank you, trustee Brenda, and a
Yes.
second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Jason. And I vote yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I vote yes. So motion passes 3-0. The governing board meeting is called into closed session at 6:53. All right. Right. Let's see, we have to reconvene. All right, reconvene. Is there a motion to reconvene?
Motion.
Thank you, trustee Brenda, and is a second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye, so the motion passes 3-0. The governing board reconvenes at 7:37. Okay, reporting out of closed session. All right, we did not take any action. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. In closed session, the board took action. Okay. The board approved the final settlement and release agreement by and between the Buena Park School District and the parents of student case number 120223517. The district agrees to pay as a compromise and settlement only the sum of $19,150 for all compensatory education and attorney's fees owed or paid by parents in connection with the action. In closed session, the board approved the final settlement and release agreement by and between the Buena Park School District and the parents of student case number 120223502. The district agrees to pay as a compromise and settlement only the sum of $37,400 for all compensatory education and attorney's fees owed or paid by parents in connection with the action. All right, so action calendar. Final action on appeal of UC, okay, now that one is different. Hold on.
That's related to the.
That's the one we extended
Yes.
till next, so we've already
That's the new
finished
act
with
we
that.
finished.
All right.
That's
So.
postponed.
That's so. All right, so that brings us to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, trustee Jason, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so motion passes 3-0. And the governing board meeting adjourns at 7:39.
Thank you, everyone.
Back, boo.